Many first-time laundromat buyers underestimate the significance of the lease, viewing it merely as a formality to sign, but this assumption can lead to disastrous financial consequences. Once established, these systems mean that moving a laundromat is a complex and expensive endeavor. Unlike typical retail operations, laundromats require specific infrastructure, water, drainage, gas, and electrical systems that cannot be easily relocated. In reality, the lease is not just paperwork, it is the very backbone of the laundromat business. Consider this. Relocating can cost between $250,000 to $400,000, which makes every lease decision critical. When signing a lease, you are essentially buying time, a limited resource that can define whether your laundromat becomes a profitable investment or an expensive failure. New buyers often evaluate laundromats primarily through revenue, expenses, and equipment condition. However, experienced investors prioritize the lease structure. They understand that revenue is meaningless. If the location is lost, profits can be wiped out by rent hikes, and time control is essential for recapturing investment. Take, for example, a case in which a first-time investor bought a laundromat for $450,000, believing it to be a secure investment based on its revenue of approximately $28,000 a month and a rent of $6,000. However, the lease had only 5 years left, with no renewal options, leading to serious issues. By year 3, the landlord proposed a new lease with a rent increase of 41% and a shortened lease term. The operator had no negotiation power, resulting in a profit drop of nearly 44% overnight. Relocating wasn't a viable option due to the astronomical costs involved. The total relocation could exceed $300,000, deeply impacting the business's viability. Consequently, the buyer had to sell at a loss within 18 months, turning a seemingly safe investment into a capital loss. Understanding the true economics of laundromats highlights why the lease structure is paramount. With typical investments reaching up to $1 million, recovering the entire investment, including borrowed capital, often takes 7 to 10 years. If the lease duration is shorter than the payback period, a business transforms into a gamble. Consider the contrasting outcomes of two buyers of the same laundromat type. Buyer A accepted a 6-year lease with no renewal options and ultimately faced low buyer demand and devaluation. Buyer B, on the other hand, negotiated a 10-year lease with renewal options, leading to a significantly higher resale value. The key lease clauses that matter most include renewal options, rent escalations, assignment rights, exclusivity clauses, and clearly defined CAM charges, as overlooked costs can severely impact profitability. In conclusion, first-time buyers need to think long-term, focusing on how the lease impacts their timeline for investment recovery and potential exit strategy. Remember, you're not just purchasing machines, you're investing in time to recoup your investment, generate profit, and build equity. Therefore, in laundromat investing, the lease is critical. Time spent here at the beginning will pay huge dividends down the road.